Well, today, welcome to the Shut-In Show. We got some good news for you on the horizon, some things you should definitely be watching on Netflix, some things definitely not to watch on Netflix, and then lots and lots of other cool things to talk about. So let's jump right into our content for today. Starting out with that good news. Let me kick us out of studio mode there. Starting out with the good news, we've got some things you should be watching on Netflix. The Avatar: The Last Airbender, the animated original series, super famous from Nickelodeon, is now finally available in 2 days on Netflix. If you haven't seen it before, It is fantastic. It's been critically and popularly acclaimed for a lot of different great reasons. It really deals with a lot of good adult themes like grieving and loss and war in these very impressively delicate and forward-thinking ways, while at the same time maintaining this very light and very fun kids show environment. I would highly recommend you go watch this. It's so good, and if you haven't watched it for a while, go get back into it. This year, Amanda and I made our way through it together, and it is one of my favorite kids shows. It's so enjoyable. They do such a good job with the world building, and the writing itself is just really, really, really fun. Now, in this time of quarantine shut-in, I'm always looking for ways that you can get out there and get out of your headspace for a little bit. Go enjoy an escapist fantasy, and nothing is better than this. If you're not familiar with Avatar: The Last Airbender, let me just pitch it for you. There are 4 nations. There are 4 different superpowers, essentially. You can do fire bending, water bending, air bending, or earth bending, and that means you have essentially utter control over a small amount of that amount or substance nearby. They have battles. It's really awesome. There's some geopolitical things that happen, and the main character is the Avatar who can control all 4, and he is a sort of Dalai Lama mixed with the Chosen One, whose job it is to maintain order and connect humans with the spiritual realm. It's great. Go watch it. Another thing that we should be mentioning today is that there's an actual live-action The Last Airbender adaptation with executive producers Michael DiMartino and Brian Konietzko, I think. Those are the original creators of the original series. They'll be executive producing it. This is going to be coming out on Netflix in the next couple of years. They were supposed to be shooting during this summer. Obviously, that's probably not happening. But there has not been a great history of live action for this amazing series. It's just genuinely hard to translate an animated thing to a live action thing, and hard to translate something that was built for 20-minute, like 3 seasons of 20-minute episodes. I think it's around 60 episodes to a 2-hour movie, which is what they tried to do in M. Night Shyamalan's terrible, please don't ever go watch it movie. My first real introduction to Avatar Airbender was this terrible movie. I had heard about the cartoons, and as a high schooler, I went and watched the movie just by myself in my basement. I torrented it, and oh my god, I had up until that point not really experienced something that was so bad that I was just going to turn it off in the middle. Like, I can sit through a lot of things, and I can get excited about things that aren't necessarily top-notch quality. Like, I really, really enjoy movies that are just like straight action flicks, or things that are built for like a 13-year-old brain, because I can get there. It's easy. Oh man. Yeah, Mark, you're totally right. They didn't even pronounce the main characters' names correctly. The only thing that was well done was the trailer. They're just the trailers. And they showed all of the cool bending that happened in the entire movie in the trailer. It was so awful. There are rumors that there was supposed to be a 4th season of the Avatar The Last Airbender cartoon. And because of this movie, the funding was diverted for this, and then it bombed so hard that they took away the opportunity for future projects. I don't know how valid all of these things are, but you could see how potentially Hollywood would have done that. The creators are very clear about how they had always intended for 3 seasons, and they didn't want to do an extra thing that watered it down. But, you can never really know what they were going to actually do. Avatar, this show isn't the only thing that exists, though. There's the cartoons, Avatar The Last Airbender. Then there's the comics. And then last night, actually, Amanda and I started watching the first season of the next Avatar series that has come out, I think, in 2014-ish, maybe 2013. Avatar: The Legend of Korra is also fantastic. Definitely go watch that. It's way different in that it's like a couple years in the future and it's a more city-based thing. Avatar Korra is super different from Avatar Aang. I love the idea of creating sort of what is effectively like a magic system and then allowing a world to sort of evolve up around it, and allowing the characters to sort of use the rules of the system to kind of do cool different things. One of my all-time favorite things that this sort of universe has is what's called probending. Now, probending is another thing that like I've realized about myself. I care more about fake sports than I do about real sports. Now, you may know this about me. I don't really give a crap about live-action real sports. Um, it's I have a hard time caring about the narratives and stuff. But when it comes to things like pro bending, where they are like, okay, we create a sport using the rules of this magic system and we tell stories inside the universe, I go crazy. I lose my mind about how awesome it is. And one of my favorite parts about Avatar Korra is that she joins a pro bending team, and I get so jacked about it. And Amanda was making fun of me about it last night. But I just wanted to take this time to talk about how much I love things that are like, yeah, this is not possible in real life, but we can go and enjoy watching like a sporting event, which like shouldn't be possible, but is still really dramatic and exciting, and sometimes even more dramatic and exciting because it doesn't exist. So, moving on from Avatar, but still maintaining our fake sports thing, let's talk about this fantastic video game that I played the crap out of on my mom's computer back in like 2009. So, one of my all-time favorite things about the Harry Potter universe is obviously Quidditch. And I was going to find a clip for get a clip. If they made a Quidditch World Cup movie where they spent just an entire sports movie doing just Harry Potter Quidditch, not even like just throw all the Potter stuff out the window. Let's just watch something that is just the Quidditch World Cup, and it's some scrappy team, like some 80s sports movie, but just Quidditch. I would go so crazy for that, and I think that so would everyone else, right? Like, it's such a cool idea to say we invented a sport that you can't play in real life, and let's use all of the same storytelling tropes and techniques with the like get your head in the game speech halfway through and the amazing like essentially aerial combat in this sport. I would love to see more of that. Caleb, yes, you can drop the clippers off at my house. That's fine. Yeah. Oh man. I just could I would die to see this show. It's so I just keep daydreaming about the fact like one day, since they made okay, backstory, right? There's Harry Potter, there are those books, and then during the publishing of Harry Potter, they published two small little books that are essentially like textbooks in the Harry Potter universe. One is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and the other one is Quidditch Through the Ages. They've created a movie series of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, story of Newt Scamander, a byline, a very small idea of a character, and they turned it into like a whole 3-movie series. And it's fantastic, and it expands the cinematic universe of the Harry Potter stuff. Like, I want to see more of that. I think that eventually they're going to do this with Harry Potter. I don't have any news or rumors of this, but this is just something that I want to exist so much, and it popped into my head today, so we're talking about it. Caleb, you can play Quidditch in real life, but you can't do it while you're flying hundreds of feet off the ground with no worry about dying, right? There are such real things as Quidditch teams for colleges and high schools, and I actually played it a little bit in high school. I think it's a really cool thing, and that's a sport I could get behind. It's just a lot of run. All right, so let's move on to some more real-life news. Thank you for listening to me geek out at you for a while. So moving on to COVID news for the day. It's happening. Hong Kong, New Zealand, Hawaii, Montana, officials are celebrating no new cases of COVID-19. Um, this is great news. And certainly these areas have been hit by the virus, but somewhat less than other places, or their responses have been stronger. Hong Kong, one of the most densely populated cities on Earth, has now gone 24 days as of this past Monday without a recirculation of the virus within the country. The last new case was reported April 20th. They, after easing restrictions back in February, had a surge in new cases from a second wave that has then they had to recontain, and then with everybody wearing masks and taking everything very seriously because they saw that reconditioning or resurgence of the virus rather, they're now well under control. Now, closer to home, Montana, the Big Sky State, reports no new patients since May 10th. Montana's COVID cases remain flat at a total of 458, with 20 active cases and 422 removed from active. So that means they either healed or they passed away. I think only a couple of dozen people died in Montana. Montana was admittedly fairly low hit. Not a lot of traffic from other places goes through Montana. Not like the west and east coasts of the United States. On May 7th, the local schools went back. So they're taking it seriously, and they brought students back. Now, I don't think this is possible for Spokane, but it's exciting to see that another state that's so nearby us has been through the cycle, and it'll be interesting to see how well things go for them as they begin to open back up. I'm still sort of biting my nails and holding my breath about Idaho. Idaho's in a similar place. They have more cases than Montana, but they're taking things less seriously, and they're opening up probably too early, especially given their proximity to Washington. So I'm going to keep my eyes on that, but hopefully on Idaho, people aren't going to go from Spokane to Idaho to do things and then come back, right? That's obviously not what we ought to be doing during this time of quarantine. All right, so moving on to some more local news about schools. This is a picture of Joe Albee Stadium. There were some rumors around about Spokane having an outdoor graduation using some social distancing guidelines for all of our various local high schools. On Track Academy wasn't going to do that. Their staff just didn't think it was reasonable and essentially not possible for the various groups of students. But the other high schools have been toying with this idea, and they submitted this proposal to the state, and the state nixed it. They said no. I actually think that was a wise choice from the governor's office. I don't think that people remember, the majority of you who are watching are graduated at least once from something, right? That feeling of success and excitement, and that feeling of like, I'm going to see the people that I haven't seen in a while, and we're going to be so excited about the thing that we've collectively finished. It's an important moment, and also it's one where you're so excited and you're so happy that you're not going to be in the back of your mind thinking, I should maintain social distancing. They were going to try to get people in like 6-foot distances in the stands and only bring a certain number of people with you. And there's just no way. It's not going to be functional. And it would have been like a very potentially dangerous area for lots of people, especially because every high school in the city would have been going. Bad idea. So they are not allowing it. However, other high schools are figuring out what to do. I've actually heard that the city is trying to put together a live stream video series, essentially, that they can send out to students with like commencement addresses and various things that are specific to Spokane schools. I'm actually a part of that for our high school, and I'm excited to be making some videos for them. But YouTube is actually going to be trying to do something like this similarly. They're creating something they're calling the Dear Class of 2020. It's going to live stream on June 6th. That's in 24 days. And it's going to be a virtual graduation event with commencement speakers and the whole thing. Some of the commencement speakers will include President Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, BTS, that's the K-pop band, Lady Gaga, Secretary Roberta M. Gates, Sudar Pichai, Secretary Condoleezza Rice, and Malala. There's a lot of other people involved in this, but this is something that I'm excited about. I'm hoping that some students can get into it. Yeah, and I just think that there are a lot of ways that we can celebrate and mark this occasion in some really unique ways without being without increasing the risk of spreading this deadly disease. So I'm excited to see YouTube putting this together, and I hope to see what other things are going to happen. I'm excited that there are lots of innovative ways that companies and people are handling this, and I'm interested to see the way that the world sort of shifts on various axes to allowing for various things that we have all sort of been through and experienced now, like working from home. On that note, Twitter has officially said that all of their employees can work from home ad infinitum. Opening our offices will be our decision, one of the higher up execs said, but when and if our employees will come back to work in person will be their decision. Obviously, they've been able to maintain operations during this shutdown, and well enough that they are now saying, okay, this works, and people can stay at home as much as they need to. Working from home works better for some people and worse for others. I'm definitely one of the people that does not excel at working from home, but I've figured out different things, and given enough space and enough time, a lot of people can figure out how to be functional working from home. It's definitely a challenge, but it works. So I'm interested to see other companies are doing this. I think Facebook and Instagram are sort of toying with this idea. They've also said they've extended the length of time that people are just guaranteed to be working at home, trying to forecast out into the fall. But it's interesting to see that Twitter is going to keep it at a certain length, or not. People can stay at home as much as they want. So moving on to some more local news and some self-care info for you. An officer at the Spokane Regional Health District said that masks will be mandated soon in Spokane in the next couple of weeks. This is based on some research and some information that says that 100% mask coverage is one of the most effective ways to minimize and almost eliminate the passage of COVID between people. Masks are something that are in short supply, but you don't need an N95 mask for this mandate. In fact, total coverage in mask wearing doesn't mandate N95 masks. In fact, the recommendation is that you don't try to buy a fancier medical grade mask, because we need those supplies for our hospitals. So I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be looking up how to make a mask. We've got a sewing machine I just found out about, and so we're going to be trying to make some of this stuff, and I'll let you know how it goes. It's a funny thing. It's not super hard to make. There's a lot of videos out there about how to make things in various levels of complexity, but yeah, social distancing and masks will now be required. Well, not now, mandated soon in the next couple of weeks. This is from the Spokesman Review. I'll post the article in the chat. Mayor Woodward also says that she'll support a public mask requirement if the Spokane Regional Health District recommends it. Let's see. Also, yeah, masking does not replace social distancing. It's not an either or. It's a both and. Social distancing is still going to be very important as we open up our state in phase by phase, and masking is going to be a really important part of that phase opening. The government is trying to weigh out the health requirements and the economic needs, and sending people back to work in these safer ways doesn't mean just and everybody gets to go back to do what they want. So masking is going to be even more important as we move forward. Yeah. And then this last quote to finish this out here: without masking, lifting lockdown after 9 weeks, so all of our phases, while keeping social distancing measures, will risk a major second wave of the epidemic in 4 to 5 months' time. This is a warning from some scientists in a study that I can also post if you need that. Masking is going to be really important coming up. We are all sort of tired of being in our homes for a good reason, but if we are not careful with our masks, there's a potential that we could get that second wave, which happened in Hong Kong, and then everybody had to be re-engaged back to be really serious about everything, and then they're recovering. They just had their whole series of everything happening much earlier than we did. So that's why they're opening up everything. So make some masks. I would love to see what your masks look like. If you got some special things, people are getting really creative about this. I reported on a luchador creating masks that were luchador style, but just for your face. And I'm hoping to get some figure out what I want to do with my mask. I'm really taking stock, and masking hasn't been something that I've really looked at very seriously because I'm not leaving the house very often and I just don't have any. But this is something that I'm starting to change right now, and I think that you should as well. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you coming and stopping by. Go on a walk, call your folks, and eat some lunch. This has been the Shut-In Show. I'm Danny Parker.